I'd like to bring before you this morning the founder and CEO of Positive People Promotions, none other than my mom, Dr. Fran Kelly. Give her a hand.
Good morning, everybody. Again, we want to thank you for coming together this morning to talk about real challenges, real talk, and real solutions. Positive People Promotions is a nonprofit organization founded in 1996. We came together to combat some of the challenges with our young people in the area of education and just teaching them about real life. And we're still on the wall today, and we appreciate those who are on the wall with us, our partners here at the law school, our partners with the Flowers Law School, Law Students Association, as well as the OK program and all the other organizations that have come to be a part of this forum this morning. It is our endeavor to come together to have a real conversation so that we can leave here with some solutions. One of the things that we talked about as a board and as a body at Positive People when we were discussing this forum was that we want to be proactive. We do not want to see a Ferguson here in Little Rock. We do not want to see some of our young people run down. We want to teach them how to have a good communication with law enforcement, how to have good communication with those in authority, and to know their rights as individuals. So those are some of the issues that we want to discuss this morning, and we have some individuals who will help us get started in those areas who we feel are experts in their fields, and we'll get to introducing them in just a little bit. Before we go to our panel, I'm going to ask Attorney Austin, LaTanya, who's my baby child, to come and give us a little, I'm going to say icebreaker with kind of getting us started this morning. So give her a hand, Ms. LaTanya.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you all so much for being here. We really, really appreciate it. And we hope that there's something that is said or done that will educate you, make you a little bit more aware of your rights and how to have effective and working relationship with law enforcement, not just in a negative light, but in a place where you feel comfortable going to them and can trust them. We hope that something is said that will enlighten you and just to kind of help make you a better individual, make you more aware of issues that you need to be aware of, even as a youth. And for our parents, thank you all for being here as well. There's going to be plenty of time for question and answer, but we wanted to kind of start off with a baseline, if you will. So about 10 minutes, and we're going to pose a hypothetical. Based on this hypothetical, we're going to ask you to confer with the members of your group, and there are some questions that we're going to ask you. And hopefully, by the time we get to the end of this forum, you will have figured out the answer, and we will revisit this hypothetical at the very end to make sure that we have a full understanding of rights and what has to occur, what needs to occur, what should occur in a particular situation. With the exception of the panel, this young lady right here, ma'am, what's your name?
Dr. White.
Dr. White. Everyone to the right, to my right, your left of Dr. White is going to be Team A, and everyone to my left, your right, is going to be Team B. Okay? And I want everyone to listen to this hypothetical, and then and feel free to move about the room and discuss, because I really want you to pay attention and listen to the facts of what I'm about to present, and have a discussion about what you think is right in this situation, okay? So, here's the hypothetical. A 17-year-old minor child of Mr. and Mrs. You Better Call Me is stopped by police while driving home from work because she matches the description of a white female with dark hair driving a burgundy Camry who was seen earlier trying to get into the window of her boyfriend's home and then slitting his tires on his black Suburban when he wouldn't let her into his home. The police take her into custody, charge her as an adult for residential burglary and criminal mischief. They begin questioning her after she waived her rights under Miranda and gave them a statement admitting to the crime. Mr. and Mrs. Call Me find out about this and want to file a complaint against the officer for not calling them as parents of the minor child before taking a statement from their daughter. 2 questions. Did the officer have a reasonable suspicion to stop the juvenile? And the second question, did the officer break the law by not contacting the parents? Again, feel free to move about the room. Parents, please engage with some of the younger people to try to invoke some conversation. The 2 questions, did the officer have a reasonable suspicion to stop the juvenile? Second question, did the officer break the law by not contacting the parents? And your time starts now. At this time, I've asked the panelists to form their opinions about the hypothetical. The way we will address this is we're going to give them about a minute to introduce themselves if it takes that long, and in their introduction to explain their position on the hypothetical. And we will begin with Little Rock Police Department, Chief Kenton Butler.
I can only speak from a reference of my experience with the law, 8 months into the state of Arkansas. I can tell you that based upon the limited information that we have, the reasonable suspicion was met based upon the description that was given for the young lady. I believe that the officer had a right to detain the young lady and also question her, to contact the parent as a courtesy. Law will require her to do that. That's not limited to experience based upon Kentucky law. I don't know if Arkansas is different from that, but I do not believe that is the case. So I believe that, in Kentucky law, if you interview that child beyond a window of about 2 hours and the court is being broken, needs to be called to get permission to go beyond that. But the stop, we believe, I believe, is legal, and detaining the child and questioning him was also legal.
Thank you, Chief Butler. Next, we have Chastity Deloney.
Good morning. My name is Chastity Deloney, and I'm filing for the positive motion. The first question, as far as stopping in relation to fitting the description, I do believe that was correct. You don't have to have a, big reason to fit the description, then it is their job to stop if you fit the description. As far as if he did not follow the law in contacting the parents, I agree, and I'm not certain about, the different varieties of state law, but yes, it's a minor, so ideally, their parents should be there before you begin to question, because you have other variables that will play. Obviously, there are scared at this point, so you don't want them to say anything, that may not be true. You're in front of someone that has authority, and so you want to make sure you say the right things, and it's just too much. The parents should have been, they should have called.
Thank you, Chastity. Next, we'll have the Honorable Judge Wendell Griffin, the Circuit Court Judge for Pulaski County.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The officer had reasonable suspicions to make what we call a stop or detain because the young lady fit the general description of the suspect. The officer violated the young lady's rights, however, when he questioned her. Juveniles, by definition, cannot waive their rights. They do not have the authority, they do not have the legal capacity to waive their rights. And The Fourth Amendment gives the juvenile the right to be free from stop. The Fifth Amendment gives her the right to be free from interrogation, the right from incrimination. Only her parents could have waived that right, and therefore the officer or the department had an obligation to hold her, contact the parents, and then, if there's to be an interrogation, the interrogation should take place only in the presence of the parents. And at that point, the child has to be given her rights. You have the right to remain silent. If you give up the right to remain silent, anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to contact a lawyer. Do you understand these rights? Children, and we classify anybody under 18, a child. Children have rights. And the people who must respect those rights first and always are the people who are entrusted to protect all our rights.
Next, we have Joyce Rayner.
I always love falling under the judge. Just told everyone the law. And then, I mean, I concur, of course, with the panelists when about the initial question. Probable cause was there. But as a parent and a grandparent of an underage child, I would be the first one to probably either call Jimmy Morris or another attorney to make an allegation of rights being violated when it comes to my child, and especially the child being underage. I too agree. I have lived it, and then us have lived it, and we've lived both sides of it. So I too think that this is why this forum is so important. I have to say that because one thing that I say to my clients all the time, there's a law for that. Everything that we do, everything that's out there, there's a law for that. So to me, this is a perfect exercise of us learning the laws, being proactive as opposed to just being reactive. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rayner. As I said before, we're going to continue to discuss this hypothetical throughout the day in light of some of the things that we're going to learn throughout the day. At this time, I will bring back the President and CEO of Positive People Promotions, Frank Kelly, to take us further to our next presenter, Mr. Jimmy Morris.
Okay, we're just going to move forward with Mr.